Hello, love. Welcome to the Libran Key. I am checking in and, in a sense, returning after not having posted for probably about a month now. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that because there have been some pretty big shifts happening in my life personally, and a lot of time and energy has been taken up in the 3D, for lack of a better way of putting it, just getting things done, getting things moving and getting things done. And it's taken a lot longer than I also thought it would. Isn't that always the case? I always feel like it's like that, for me anyway. And time is also feeling a lot like it's speeding up, but at the same time, like it's one big moment. 111 on the counter as I say that. It's like, yeah, just this portal energy of feeling like jumping timelines. So I'm gonna fill you in a little bit with what has been going on personally for me the last little while. And I do that because I know that there are things that I will share here that are gonna resonate for you and resonate for this family and the collective at large, because we're all experiencing this to varying degrees and different ways in our lives. Depending on where we're at on our journey. And it's funny, for those of us especially who are on a spiritual journey, you know, Spirit keeps on reminding me that there is a domino effect of transformations happening. And astrologically, there is a lot going on. There are essentially a lot of endings and new beginnings happening, okay? If you are somebody who is, quote unquote, a Plutonian type, you will understand this, but you don't have to be. It's just that, you know, I've spoken about Plutonian types before. If you've got Pluto in the first house, Pluto in your ascendant, a Scorpio ascendant, a lot of action in the 8th house in your natal chart, for example. If you've got Pluto even at the midheaven is what I'm seeing, or all those kind of major crucial points, Pluto conjunct your sun, the list goes on. Like I could, you know, it all depends as well on the kind of aspects that Pluto makes in your chart. But it is significant that you are incarnated, that you are incarnate at this time with Pluto moving into Aquarius and this age of Aquarius, okay? That the fabric of this age is we're moving forward and through this kind of energy, because you signed up for a domino effect transformation. And really what Spirit is showing me here is expansion of consciousness, the existential expansion of being here on Earth at this time, being here on Mama Gaia. So, having said all that, don't want to make this super, super long. If it goes a little long, then what the heck, but my intention is to try and be as concise as I can be in this, because there's a lot. Essentially, what has been going on is I have been going through a big move, a big physical move, transition. I am currently living in Greece. I have moved to Greece. And when I say that, it's because for the time being, this is the homestead for the time being. And this has been something that has been ongoing in my life for a while. Now, little quick, you know, what's the word? I guess timeline. Little history for you, background information. In this Earth incarnation, 444 on the counter as I say that, Archangel Michael coming in for that too. There's something significant in that for you as well, okay, for that to be coming through. Our Earth incarnations, and I do have a feeling that this is something that we're going to be looking at a lot more moving forward collectively. Our Earth incarnation is significant in this particular lifetime. Just like as star seeds, for example, we want to know more about the star nation or the star family that we come from, or that we have come from, because let me just say there's more than one, right, in terms of the different lifetimes that we have experienced, but oftentimes we do gravitate toward one in particular, or we gravitate to, let's say, the last big one that's relevant to our journey here on Earth. There's significance in that. And just as there is significance in that, there's significance in your roots. I'm hearing the word for that in Greek though, which is rhizes. There's significance in your roots and where you come from. Because we all come from different places, but we also come from the same source as well. And there's some significance in that, in reconciling that. It's funny that word that comes through, because it seems like part of the path of the journey here on Earth is synergizing those things versus having them opposed to each other, right? And it all comes back to unity, consciousness, and it's not just consciousness, it's like reunification period, okay? So, my mother is Greek background and my father is Greek background here in this Earth incarnation, okay? My mother, her family comes from an area in Greece around Sparta. So she is Spartan, and I laugh about that because she definitely has that Spartan temperament that people, anyway, that the Spartans in here, you know, on the Earth timeline have so lovingly embodied. And my father is from an island in Greece called Kefalonia, which is actually very close to, it's in the Ionian Sea, not in the Aegean. So my dad, you know, he was born in Greece. He left Greece when he was 16 and went to Canada. And that's where he met my mom, whose parents were Greek immigrants in Canada, okay? So my mother was born in Canada, but of Greek background, and the Greek culture and my Greek roots have always been very strongly emphasized growing up. And I also very much gravitated towards that as well, growing up. Greece always felt, in a very peculiar way, more like home to me than Canada did. And it's funny because Mama Gaia has shown me the significance in that, which is something that we can talk about at another time moving forward. The land itself is always, for me, something that I connect to energetically. And Greece has always been a land, as a physical land, that I've connected to very strongly. And it has always factored into my life incredibly in a crucial way. When I was 5, we moved to Greece as a family. We were here for 6 months. I went back to Canada. I didn't speak a lick of English. I didn't want to. And I was like, where the heck am I? Talk about culture shock. You know, just like starseed culture shock, you know, here on Earth, it was the same thing. I've been through a lot of that in my life. Anyway, and I just was like, what is this? You know, like, you know, I wouldn't talk to this one woman that my parents had took me to for like an interview to get into this school kind of thing. And it was just very interesting, the stories. I went through a massive culture shock when I went back to Canada when I was that age, very, very shy as well. I am an introvert by nature, and in the Myers-Briggs, I've always typed as an INFP, but I'm also kind of like PJ, like I'm sort of right on that sort of border there. And even the I part, like I always sort of score like within the 10 percentile, like I'm like 60%, which is interesting, but that's a whole other story. If you're into Myers-Briggs, which is incredibly fascinating and obviously based on Jungian psychology, which is more than just psychology, because Jung was, you know, I've referenced him here many times, was very much a soul that wanted to understand at a much deeper level what psychology even means, okay? Anyway, so, you know, I went through a period of time where I was like very, very shy, very introverted, really had a hard time adapting, right? And then my mother, this is just a quick little side note, my mother put me in speech and drama class and everything changed after that. I became like a massive ham. So anyway, that's a whole other thing. So I think a lot of that has to do with the fact too that I was raised in a very sort of extroverted family. So like I've adapted in a good way to having to deal with like the world, but by nature, definitely an introvert. 1111 on the counters, I say that. So fast forward to when I graduated university, I moved to Greece again. And this time I stayed for 6 years. And then Greece was undergoing a crisis at that time and my family had gone back to Canada. So I ended up leaving and going back to Canada. And now I am here again. Three's a charm. So it's really interesting because what has been happening to many of us is there's a returning and a remembering happening. And many, I mean, I could just point to the astrology itself to show you what is happening in terms of the cycles that are closing out and how new ones are beginning. 1212 on the counter as I say that. Very significant because that makes me think of 2012 and all the references that were being made at that time. 1221 on the counter as well as I say that. So it's very much a mirroring effect. And I am going to be going into this more deeply around this time moving forward because there are a lot of cycles that have been closing out in order for us to move forward. And I just saw 1234 on the counter as I said that. That's Mama Iset too as well coming in. When we had done the winter meditations together, she had brought through those numbers, 1212, 1221, and 1234. All significant. You may be seeing those numbers at the moment currently. They're all significant. And so much of this is connected to the inner journey being reflected in the outer world. So what's really interesting is that I have had to really focus on the outer world for a while. I just saw 1313 again, a lot of repeating numbers happening. Death card energy, 100%. That has been huge right now in terms of, again, closing out a cycle. In the physical, there's something about that being compared to this ego death that's often connected to the death card in tarot. And the amount of purging, the amount of things that have come back. Just the other day, for example, I had not realized that there were a bunch of boxes that were put away in storage from when I had left here the previous time. And I was going through all of these things that were, it was like a time capsule. It was like opening up a time capsule. And I feel that that's something that is significant. If you're seeing synchronicities around that, or like, you know, Pandora's box kind of things, like opening up boxes and going through things that are like they're having you really focus on how far you've come, the shifts that have taken place. Looking back at things that you had, it's like they're not even you anymore, you know? So that's where we're at right now. You know, it's like the older versions of us are what Spirit is actually showing me is when a body, and I know this may be a little graphic, okay? I'm just saying that as a bit of a warning here, but this is again really connected to Pluto and the energy of Pluto. I remember one astrologer, and I can't remember her name, Meredith something. I know that she's got a channel here on YouTube, but I had seen a video where she spoke about Pluto being the gunk. It's all the gunk that, it's all the decay, it's all the gunk that you gotta sop through and look at, right? If you're really truly here to transform, and especially if you have signed up to really alchemize and do a lot of shadow work and alchemize the denser energies, and there are plenty of them here, plenty of them, right? If you signed up for that, that's what it is. It's this energy of decay, like the way that you see, what they're showing me is like a compost, okay? Like the energy of composting, and how I'm back. The iPhone storage is full, and I had to erase some stuff. So what I was saying, luckily it only took like a minute. What I was saying is that we're remineralizing the soil. The soil, I'm hearing the Greek word edaphos, like the foundation, the ground that you are on. And now I'm being shown the image of a tree growing its roots even deeper and its branches even higher into the sky, okay? So that is a little bit of where I'm at right now. Very, very short, very, very quick, short and sweet. And I do want to pop a card for all of us, for the collective right now. I'm going to be asking through the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, because I think that this is pretty fitting in terms of being on a journey and mapping out where you are at. So Mama Gaia wanting to come through for this, and Mama Iset, by extension Mother Mary. If this camera is shifting and kind of bumping up and down, it's because I have a stand that's actually on the table. She's saying that's way too much and she wants me to put these back. Okay. We've got Ghostlands. Some of us really feel, yeah, like we are in that energy. Look at that. Home. I'm hearing, what is home? Home is where the heart is. And 7, into the unknown. Really, really interesting energies coming out there. The 7 has been popping up quite a bit. And I think because 7, funny enough, 7, even though we think of 9 as the number that closes out a cycle, 7 is also an energy of a cycle as well. It can be referred to as a cycle 2. It's funny because I'm being shown repeating 7s as well. 7 is also significant. It's funny, they're showing me the significance of 7 because I am a life path number 7. So this had come through earlier actually, where what is your life path number? And take a look at where that life path number is popping up in your life, because it's significant. There's a meaning in that. 49, talisman at the bottom of the deck. Okay, 49, that's 13 again. That's the energy of the death card as well. The energy of the divine feminine also is what I'm being shown here. Okay, so what's funny is this Ghostlands card is coming through very much like, there's a card in, I think it's in the Healing Waters deck. It's reminding me of that, where it's like, I think it's called the Wastelands. It's in those periods of quote unquote drought where we feel like we're not moving, we're stagnating, where actually a lot of the growth is happening. And again, I'm being shown the earth, Mama Gaia showing me the earth and a seed that is germinating. That is where you cannot, it's funny, I'm hearing a play on you cannot judge a book by its cover, but what I'm hearing is like, that is an analogy for when seemingly as nothing happened, you can't judge. What I'm hearing Spirit say to me is you can't judge growth by its cover. Meaning, like, you look at the soil and there's a seed there and it's working its butt off, but you can't see it. A lot of us are returning home. This is another message that's coming through. And this 27, that reduces to a 9. This is really speaking to me personally. There's also a gateway energy with this as well. I keep on hearing again, home is where the heart is, but they keep on really pointing me to the energy of the owl here, okay? There's also an energy here of grounding, wisdom, the divine feminine, that owl coming through is a message for that. That could also be connected to some of you with the goddess Athena, okay? It's interesting because it's very Greek, it's very Athenian, that owl coming through. And time, the cyclical nature of time. This into the unknown, 444 on the counter, because again, I'm recording this from another installment here. 444 on the counter on my end. This into the unknown is a very divine feminine energy of trust, of having faith. One of the things that Spirit is giving me as an analogy here from my own personal journey to share with you is that when you just have a feeling like you need to move in a certain direction, and that feeling, it's not just this sort of, it's not coming in on a whim. You feel it in your bones, is what Mama Gaia is saying. You feel it in your body, you feel it in your bones, you feel it deep within, however that resonates for you. There's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about that. Actually, they want me to read from the book for that. There's something really significant in that. It's kind of the energy of, especially when you've been feeling something for a while, when something keeps on coming up for you, and you don't exactly know how it's going to look just yet. You're not exactly there yet, but something keeps on telling you to go. Something keeps on telling you to continue, to move forward into the unknown. This is essentially where we are at right now collectively as well. There's so much that is not known to us, and what Spirit is also showing me is that, like, timelines are constantly shifting. Our energy right now is more important than ever in terms of where we are directing timelines. And I don't just mean that on an individual level, I mean that collectively as well, okay? They keep on bringing me back to this home card. There was something there that they wanted to bring through. The significance of grounding in that, in the home card. The significance of the physical body, okay? All right, into the unknown. Life is an adventure, and often new opportunities will arise that you won't know how to deal with. This is one of those times. You're required to trust that this new phase will reveal wonders and miracles as you step into unknown territory. Imagine that you are not only a pathfinder, but a path maker. 7-11 on the counter as I say that. This goes back to, again, what was just coming through about our energy right now, the timelines, and the timelines that we are creating, that we are making. Whatever your inquiry, trust that you'll be safe. Stay aware as you discover new and marvelous territories and valuable treasures. Trust, and all will be revealed into the unknown, okay? There's something about home. Yes, thank you, Spirit. All of us coming from the same source. There's something in the energies right now where we really, really need to remember that, and we need to come back to unity. And that's just a big thing that has been ongoing for a while, but it's being exacerbated is what I'm hearing, okay? Talisman at the bottom of the deck. I'm getting a lot of our North Star in this, being guided by our inner compass, and really making sure that we are also spending time in meditation, in quiet, in sacred space for us to really connect. through a lot of like the turbulence. I'm being shown turbulence on a plane right now, which is something that I did experience not that long ago. With all the traveling that's been happening for me, I feel like one of the things that automatically, like what I do too, is I just go within, right? Like, and this is for any moment where you're in fear or where you're feeling like there's a lot of chaos or crap going on around you. It's coming back to center. It's coming back to your heart space. It's coming back to your gut, whatever that is for you. Coming back to your center, coming back to connecting to your higher self, okay? And your North Star. I'm going to leave it at that. I love you all so much. I will be now back more regularly. I appreciate your understanding in all of this. If you've been wondering what the frick has been going on, okay? It was very necessary for me to just really focus on the things that I had to take care of energetically. And now I'm in a place where I am able to energetically be present here with you and through this portal of a video to connect back, okay? And there will be some changes going forward to the channel. I can guarantee you of that. I know that I did an update recently with regard to that, but that has just been my life right now. And if I continue to do the same thing, you know, over and over again, when things have completely shifted dramatically, doesn't make sense, does it? Is that being totally in alignment with everything? I don't think so. So thank you. I'm sending you all so much love wherever you are here on beautiful Mama Gaia, and love and liberation always.